except when it doesn't work, right? All right, awesome. We're recording. Okay, so let me jump back in here. So talking about how people consume content. Okay, so how do people consume content? People consume content, like I said, when they're scrolling, they're looking at their iPhone, they're scrolling through their day. So you've got to remember how people are seeing your content and the context of people seeing your content. I always say you've got to try to catch people in the news feed, right? Think about how your content is being consumed. You're publishing something, and whatever you post to Facebook is sandwiched between their best friend and their mom's comments, right? Or they're sandwiched between their friends who just posted some silly video and their best friend from high school, a high school reunion photo. Your content is sort of sandwiched between their friends and family. So, that's one of the reasons when you think of content, it's really important to think of what you're posting and also what time of day that you're posting content. So I want to share a few people in real estate who I think are doing a really great job of just catching people's attention. I've got a couple of great examples here. This is, I'm going to put this full screen so you guys can see this better. Okay, so I've got here Marguerite. She's my girl. She is an awesome agent in Tacoma, and I know she messaged me this morning. She's got meetings with clients. I don't think she's on this morning, but hopefully Marguerite will listen to the recording here. She does a great job of showcasing her brand, of showcasing her personality. She's quirky. She's sassy. She's an awesome professional, and she has some really great content. And I love how she phrases things because it's her personality. Here's another great example, Leslie Jones. Leslie, if you're tuning in, I'm waving hi to you. Did a little bit of work with Leslie earlier this year with the Utah Valley Parade of Homes, which was super fun. And Leslie's so great at just posting, here's such a fun photo, just a quick and simple congratulations photo. So catching people's attention in the news feed, doing things that are short and sweet. You'll see both of these are just quick, right? It's like a sentence or two, something that's real and something that's really timely. A lot of times you might see posts in your news feed that are specific to the time of day, right? Hey, it's Sunday morning. Hey, it's Friday night. Hey, it's Monday morning. Those type of posts typically do really well because you are talking about the time of day when people are reading through their news feed and really being timely, really, really key. So one of the things I think is a really important exercise, and I've got to credit my girl, my friend, Deborah Traven. Deborah is a master at doing what I'm talking about right here. I want you to think about what words describe your brand. So when you think about your brand, and I think sometimes we get caught up in our logo and what is our brand, what does that mean? Everybody's got a brand, whether you're an individual agent, whether you work for a big corporation, whatever your job title is, everybody's got a brand. And as I've heard many people say, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So think about what words describe your brand. Maybe it's things like I'm sassy, I'm a professional, I'm a seasoned agent, I go above and beyond, I'm compassionate, family. There's certainly words that really describe who you are. And what I encourage you to do is to think about those words because those words will help you with your social media strategy. It's one thing to say, what am I going to post today? What am I going to post? How is this going to be relevant? But it's another thing to actually use the words that are important, that describe who you are. Those are things that make a big difference. When you look at those examples I just shared a minute ago, Marguerite's a great example. Her tone is sassy and it's fun and it's quirky because that's her and people know her, right? I think sometimes on social media we try to be super duper professional and we try to use the language that we use in our marketing flyers or we try to use the language that we use in our print advertising, and it doesn't translate to social media because social media is casual, it's a conversation. It's like, imagine, if you will, being at a party and you're chatting with someone and all of a sudden, instead of your casual conversational voice, you switch over into this professional voice that you use when you're writing, right? It would feel awkward. It would feel out of place. And that's what happens in social media. So one of the things I think is really important is don't miss the moments. Don't miss the moments. If you do nothing else in social media, I really encourage you to capture the moments in real estate. And, I know for myself, just going through this whole process, it was just a reminder to me that it is an emotional process. I mean, I've got an amazing realtor. I have an amazing lender. The process has been seamless and so smooth. I can't say enough great things about the process, but it's still emotional. It's still the biggest purchase decision I've ever made in my life. So it's a huge, huge deal. And I think as agents, you have an opportunity to capture the moment. Now, of course, some of your clients are very private, and you may not be talking about them publicly. You may not be posting about them on Facebook. That's understandable. But by the time you get to the close, you've built a relationship with that person. And if you know that that person is a Facebook person, if you become friends with them on Facebook and you've just gotten to know their family and it's sort of that close connection, ask them, hey, can I snap your photo, right? Whether it's popping the bottle of champagne or handing them their set of keys or signing their documents, it's such validation. Here's a great example from a dear friend of mine, Maura Neal. She's an agent out in Atlanta who does a really great job of this on Facebook, on Instagram. Here's another great example. I love this couple. They're like smiling ear to ear because of just, so happy, which is awesome. So I get asked this all the time, what are the biggest mistakes that real estate agents are making? So one of the biggest mistakes that real estate agents are still making is that they're using social media as a broadcast platform. And, if you've been to any of my social media webinars, you've heard me say this before, but social media is not a one-way street. It's a conversation. But I think it's so easy to get into that habit of, okay, what am I going to post to social media? Okay, I have a new listing. I'm going to promote that. Okay, I've got this going on. I've got to promote that. I have my open house. And we get into this mode of what we need to promote. Now, I will say there's certainly a place for that on Facebook. That's one of the reasons Facebook business pages are really effective. That's an ideal place to promote things. But your Facebook presence specifically, as well as other social media platforms, can't be all about you blasting information, right? Because pretty soon people are going to tune off, they're going to unfriend, they're going to hide you. It's not going to be a good thing. I want to share with you an example, and I just sort of whipped this up this morning before the webinar because I felt like this was a really good example. I see this all the time, and I'm sure some of you might be giggling as you see this. But so there's kind of a wrong way and a right way to talk about a listing. Now, people ask me all the time, Katie, can I talk about my listings on social media? And I always say, maybe, right? It depends. And I used to say, no. But what I found is, especially some of my dear friends who are real estate agents all over the country, I see them talking about their listings, but I see them doing so in a way that's really fun and different, and it's not spammy. It's not annoying like an advertisement would be. So I want to just share with you sort of the wrong way and the right way. And of course, this is just my opinion, but I found that this makes a really big difference. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. The wrong way. I see this all the time. I see a beautiful photo of a home, and then I see in all caps, new listing, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, gorgeous remodel, newer floors, newer roof, granite backsplash, a chef's dream, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, open Sunday 1 to 4. That is obnoxious. If you are doing that, knock it off. Okay? Now, that might work for MLS, right? That might work for other advertising that you're doing. You want to grab people's attention. It doesn't work on social media because what it sounds like is you're standing on the top of a table with a big bullhorn yelling at everybody. So don't sound like you're yelling at everybody. So how can you just tweak this to make it a little bit better, a little bit more conversational? So all I simply did, I took the same photo. Now this is a stock photo, but obviously this would be a photo of your listing. And I actually put this photo into a program called PicMonkey. It's one of my favorite websites, PicMonkey, PicMonkey.com, PicMonkey.com. PicMonkey.com is a free site. There's a paid version, but there's a free version where you can edit your photos, you can add text over photos. So I took this photo and I just simply put this little phrase over my photo. I said, there's no place like home, and I put my website at the bottom there. Now, by the way, if you have a professional photo, make sure you ask your professional photographer before you edit their photos. That's important. So I put some text over it, and then what I put here in the status update is I wrote this. I said, I'm so thrilled to be working with Joe and Melissa. What an amazing family. They have truly made a house a home. And then I would put a link. So it's the exact same house. It's the exact same listing. But instead of shouting and screaming at the top of my lungs, I'm sharing something a little personal. Now, of course, if Joe and Melissa didn't want me to be public about their house, or they didn't want me to mention their names, of course I wouldn't do that. But making it more personal, I would probably also take it a step further. And once I published this, I would then go in, I would tag this photo. If I was friends with Joe and Melissa, I would click tag. I would tag that photo. I would tag both of them. And that way each one of them gets a notification of it. And that way each one of them sees this being promoted on your Facebook business page. And then also it would get, most likely, they would share that. They would share that with their 300 friends. So it's a little thing. This literally took me probably 5 minutes to say, okay, I'm going to put this photo in. I'm going to add a little text. I'm going to think about something unique to say. But if you're thinking of trying to think of a unique way to talk about your listings, on Facebook, I encourage you to do things like this where you're telling the story and you're making it more personal. Really, really key. The other thing that's really important when you're thinking about Facebook and social media in general is that people connect with you when you share who you are beyond your business. I mentioned mistakes earlier. I said, what are agents doing that are doing it wrong? And the agents who are doing it wrong, all they're doing is talking about their business. All they're doing is talking about their listings, and that's it. And we are so much more than our business, right? Think about who we are. You might be a mom. I'm a mom. You might be a grandparent. You might be, into hiking. You might be into wine like I am. You might, love food and restaurants, gardening, sports. Think about just all the different things that make you who you are. People connect with you because of those things. And I always say people will do business with you because of your experience and your expertise and your knowledge, but they connect with you because of those personal things. They connect with you because you're a mom and I'm a mom, or you love cats and I love cats, or you love wine and I love wine. Those things that we connect over, that is so, so important. And we connect that way a lot of times through social media. So I'm going to share in a few minutes some ways to be really, really intentional about this. This is one of my favorite quotes. This is a Dr. Seussism. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you, right? And it's all about being you and being personal. I think a lot of times an agent wants to try to put their business into compartments where they've got their business over here and their personal over here. But it's really, really important that, that especially on Facebook, that you're showcasing your personal and your professional. You don't have to share everything and anything. You don't have to open the kimono, as my good friend Kelly Mitchell always says. You don't have to completely, open up everything and tell everybody everything. Don't do that. But think about things that are important to you and make sure you're sharing some of those things. It's a really, really key thing. I want to share one of my favorite examples. This is a dear friend of mine, Janine Kimball. She's a realtor with RE/MAX, and I love this. This is her personal profile. It's not her business page, but one of the things she does, I love her cover photo here. The cover photo is across the top, and it says, "All you need is love, but if you want a house too, we'd be happy to hook you up." And I love that because that's totally her. That's totally her personality. And that cover photo, by the way, that's a really big piece of real estate. Right? No pun intended, but it's a really important piece of real estate. So make sure you've got something on your cover photo that's fun and that's reflective of your brand. Okay, so I want to share a few things to be really, really intentional on Facebook. If you've heard any of my webinars before, you've heard me teach this, but I've got to teach it again. It's, I think, one of the most critical things that is important for a real estate agent, and that is creating some lists. And what I mean by creating lists is weeding through the noise. Facebook inherently is a noisy, hot mess. If you're tweeting, feel free to tweet that. Facebook can be a hot mess because you're scrolling through Facebook and you're seeing people who are playing Candy Crush and you're seeing people who are, posting what they had for breakfast yesterday, and then somewhere in there you see your clients. And it's really hard for an agent to not have Facebook be a time suck. How can you have Facebook be something that's intentional and doesn't take a huge chunk of your time? And that's by creating lists. Excuse me. And the way that you create lists is you do this. So there's a link on here, facebook.com/bookmarks/lists. Facebook.com/bookmarks/lists. The way you create a list is you click the button Create a List, and these lists are private, by the way, so people do not know that they're on a list. They do not know the name of the list. It's private. And I encourage you to create two lists, a client list and a potential client list. Now, you can call them whatever you want to call them, but I like to keep it simple, clients and potential clients. So your clients are people you're working with right now. Now, some of your clients, you may not be Facebook friends with them. You may not be comfortable being Facebook friends with all of them. It really depends. If you're not sure, just ask. I would say the more you get to know someone, the more you'll get a sense to see if they're active on Facebook, if they're a social media person. If they're a social media person, friend them on Facebook and put them into a private client list. Your potential clients are people that you potentially could work with in the next 12 to 18 months. So these are people, for example, like myself. Maybe you have someone who you know short sailed 4 or 5 years ago. You have someone, maybe you sold a couple, and their kids are going to possibly be in the market to buy a home in the next year or so. So all of these potential clients, that goes into list number 2. And then what you're going to do every day for 5 minutes, and I tell you, if you do nothing else on Facebook but this will be worth it. Spend 5 minutes every morning before you open email, by the way, because once you open email, it's all downhill from there. But spend 5 minutes every day, go onto Facebook, and you click on your client list. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the 10 or so clients you're working with, and you're going to see things like their kids just, their kids just graduated from high school, or they're going on vacation to Hawaii next week, or the husband just got a job promotion. And then you're going to click on your potential client list, and that list will probably be a bigger list, and you'll see the same things. And then what do? You take those 5 minutes and you scroll through, and things that are of interest to you, you click like, you comment, you engage with that person, you share. Now, I always say don't click like on everything. Don't be creepy. Don't be that person. But make sure you engage with people, because it's really, really important. Part of the strategy with social media to get business as an agent is thinking about what you're going to post. That's important, right? Your strategy. We talked about that a second ago with how you phrase things, keeping it short, keeping it true to your brand. But the other side of the coin is living in the comments. My friend Chris Smith says this all the time, living in the comments. Are you living in the comments, meaning are you sharing content? Are you responding to people? Think about, when you post something to social media, 9 times out of 10, if you're like most people, you post something and then you look back 5 minutes later to see if anybody commented, right? So there's so much validation in commenting and sharing and engaging with people. One of the reasons why this works is relationships are built with these small interactions over the course of time, really small interactions. Every like, comment, share really adds up. It's a really, really key thing. Just like in real life, when we meet someone in person and then we meet them in the grocery store, over time we have built a relationship with them. One of the things I always say, too, as far as being intentional with social media is surprise and delight people. Be a giver. And you can be a giver by a lot of different ways. Maybe you send a private message to people on Facebook. Maybe intentionally you say, okay, once a week I'm going to send someone a private message, or I'm going to send them a coffee. And here's 2 of my favorite sources. I've been doing this quite a bit lately. Tweet a coffee. If you're on Twitter, Tweet a Coffee is an awesome promotion that Twitter is doing with Starbucks. You can actually literally tweet someone a coffee. It's a $5 Starbucks card. I've been doing this this week to some of the awesome people who've been helping to share my content and helping to spread the word about my coaching program. So big shout out to everyone. You know who you are. I've been tweeting coffee like a mad woman, but it's awesome. You can also do the same thing with Facebook. Facebook.com/gifts. You can send gift cards. You can send a $5 Starbucks card. You can send a Bath and Body Works card, Fandango cards. You can send gift cards to charities in people's names. And the way I'm seeing a lot of agents using this is that they're being intentional about surprising people. And they're saying, okay, once a month, I'm going to intentionally surprise somebody. So think about it. Can you do that? Can you, for the next 12 months, intentionally surprise one person a month? Right? This doesn't take the place of a closing gift. This doesn't take the place of, a big birthday gift for your mom. But it's the opportunity to surprise people, or maybe it's their birthday, right? On your birthday, you have 500 people that say happy birthday, but I bet you have 1 or 2 who maybe take it a step further and send you an actual card in the mail or do something like this. So definitely some great opportunities there. One of the things I found too, just about being a giver, is just how gratifying it is when you can really be a giver. This is something I did just recently. I been thinking about moving, so we're going through our house and we're starting to kind of figure out what we're going to keep, what we're going to donate. And I was going through my books. I love books. I've been reading voraciously lately, and here's some of my recent books. I put this up on my Facebook page. I didn't have a huge number of people who saw it. I had, as you can see here, about 500 people who saw this post. But what was amazing is when you're a giver, when you're giving things away, and these were just books that I've read that were I was really excited about. It's amazing to me. These are just some of the comments. I had dozens and dozens of comments. Now, granted, everybody likes something for free, right? But think about it. Is there something that maybe you could give away? Maybe it's a book that's meaningful to you. Maybe it's a fun $5 Starbucks card. What's great about Facebook is they've made doing promotions so much easier than in the past. And to be honest, this doesn't even have to be a promotion. It can just be about giving something of your time, giving something of value. Now, this is a really great segue because I just want to share. I have a fun giveaway. So I know I talked about my coaching program in the beginning. These are 2 books that are really, really meaningful to me. Gary Vaynerchuk is someone I've been following on social media for quite some time. He's got a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook: How to Tell Your Story in a Noisy Social Media World. Awesome, awesome book. And then another book, Your Network is Your Net Worth. This is written by Porter Gale. Porter was formerly the VP of Marketing at Virgin America. I got to know Porter when I was working at Inman News, and just both are really fantastic books. So this is the first time I've announced this. I'm excited. So this is only for you guys listening to the webinar. If you sign up for my coaching program, it's getsocialsmart.com. Sign up today. Once you sign up, email me your receipt and tell me which book you like. Just email me at katie@katielance.com, and the first 25 people who email me today get a free copy of one of these books. So I'm going to go on to Amazon. I'll order a brand new book for you. You can get a Kindle copy if you want. You can get a hardcover copy. But it'll be just kind of my gift to you for tuning in today, for taking some time out. And really, I want to share with you one of these books that's really impacted me a lot in social media. So sign up. And the website, like I said, is getsocialsmart.com. Okay, so Facebook ads. Let me jump into talking a little bit about Facebook ads and some other stuff with Facebook, and then we're going to talk about LinkedIn, and then we're going to do some Q&A. So are you leveraging Facebook ads? If you haven't done any Facebook ads lately, or you haven't done them in quite some time, there are some really great opportunities. Now, I will say you can only run Facebook ads if you have a Facebook business page. So if you don't have a Facebook business page, this doesn't apply to you. But this is just good food for thought if you're thinking about possibly creating a page. Advertising is an important piece of having a successful Facebook page. I hate to say it, but Facebook is becoming more and more of a pay-to-play. So to really be successful having a Facebook business page, you have to have a strategy of what you're going to post, you have to consistently post content, and you have to spend some money on Facebook ads. So here's a great example. You can actually now target people on Facebook ads. You can target people who are likely to move. Right? How awesome is that? You've always been able to do some great targeting on Facebook, but this is amazing. So I have here an example. Here's an example. Let's say, for example, I was a realtor in Silicon Valley here in California, and if I was, let's say, promoting a listing and I wanted to do some Facebook advertising. Now, by the way, I know some people will say, don't advertise your listings on Facebook. I would agree, don't advertise your listings on Facebook, but I do think if you can advertise your listings to a very targeted audience, then it's very relevant, right? So, for example, if I had a great listing that I wanted to market on Facebook, I would do this. I'd go into Facebook advertising. By the way, the link for this is just facebook.com/ads. So facebook.com/ads. And you can see here you've got, I put in 2 cities that are in Silicon Valley. I've got Mountain View, I've got San Jose. I could put in my age demographic. I could put language. And then I also put in this demographic right here under behaviors. There's all different behaviors you can pick, but for real estate, this is probably the most one of the most relevant ones, which is likely to move. So now, if I were to do an ad for, let's say, a listing I had, this is now going to reach 19,000 people. This is a super targeted ad, right? So instead of reaching 1 billion people on Facebook, now you're targeting people who are in your target market, who are in your target demographic, who are likely to move. Right? And that's a really powerful ad. Imagine doing that ad for 7 days or 10 days or even 30 days and then sharing that information with your seller and saying, these are all the places I advertise. Here's an example of what we did on Facebook, and sharing that as well. For any of you who are brokers or managers and you're in a recruiting role, this is equally powerful if you're recruiting and trying to retain agents. I've seen a lot of brokers do this very successfully, where they bring a new agent on board, and one of the things they do in their first week or 10 days is they do the normal announcements. Maybe they send out announcement cards. Maybe they do an announcement in the newspaper, or they do a press release. But they also do a big announcement through Facebook, and they do some paid advertising targeting your key market areas. And that's a huge thing to promote to your recruit, to your agent, to say, hey, in addition to X, Y, and Z, we're going to promote you on Facebook. To an estimated reach of X number of people. Really, really powerful stuff. One other thing that I think is really kind of cool, this is a little bit of an advanced tip. So for those of you who are my advanced users, this is a really, really cool thing. So within the search on Facebook, Facebook search has gotten more and more robust. If you have a Facebook business page, I encourage you to do this search. Go in and type in favorite interest of people who like, and now don't put my page, but put your page. So if you have a business page, you would put favorite interests of people who like, and then whatever your business page is. What you'll find is you'll see the top 10, and I just have 3 here, the top interests of people who like your page. So this is really interesting for 2 reasons. When you're thinking about your content strategy for your business page, why not have content that is relevant to the people who like your page. So I'm looking at this and going, wow, people who like my page like real estate. That's not surprising. But they also really like traveling, and they also really like hiking. So perhaps as part of my content, let me think about how I might be able to incorporate some of those interests into the content on my Facebook page. It's also really relevant when you're thinking about Facebook advertising. Maybe you've dabbled in Facebook advertising a little bit and you want to kind of take it to the next level. Why not do some Facebook advertising that also targets some of these interests? So there's all kinds of fun things that you can do when you really kind of dive into some of the Facebook advertising options. What's great about it is you can start at a relatively low cost. You know, you can start doing Facebook ads for $5 or $20. And I always think back to my days. I used to work in a real estate brokerage, and I used to be responsible for laying out newspaper ads and homes and land ads and magazine ads. And oh my gosh, those ads were so expensive. And I know a lot of those still work. I still am a big believer in traditional advertising for a lot of reasons. But when you think about the cost of a magazine ad that might cost $3,000 or $4,000, or a newspaper ad that might cost $200 or $300 or $500 or $800 compared to what you could spend on Facebook ads, you know, it's a no-brainer to me. A couple other things I want to just share really quick for Facebook business pages. You may or may not know you can actually schedule content. The way you do this is on your Facebook business page. There's a little teeny clock right here, and you can actually schedule content for later in the day, later in the week. What a lot of agents are doing that are getting business from social media is they're setting aside time in their week. Perhaps it's a Friday, perhaps it's a Saturday. They're setting aside 30 minutes, maybe an hour, where they're scheduling out some of their content for the next week. Now, that doesn't mean you're scheduling content for a year in advance. Please don't do that. But, you know, they're really kind of scheduling content and being smart about it. Let's see here. Facebook Insights, this is also a key thing. If you have a Facebook business page, you may or may not know this, but you can actually see through your Facebook Insights when people who like your page, when are they active the most, right? When are they active? Are they active at 9 a.m.? Are they active at 6 p.m.? And this is really, really helpful when you're figuring out what type of content and when you're scheduling it. I do have a question. Somebody asked me a question about paying to promote a post or promoting a Facebook page. There is an option to promote posts within Facebook. That's an option called boosting a post, and that's a great opportunity to boost your post to people who like your page but also their friends. And that's a great way to start with Facebook ads, is starting by boosting posts, really getting that post out to more people. Some of you who followed me before have seen this. I've talked about my content grid before. If you haven't seen this before, this is like basically an editorial calendar. What you're seeing here are about 30 days worth of content ideas for Facebook as well as other social platforms. I have a free copy of this at katielance.com. If you go to katielance.com, put in your email address, and sign up for my newsletter, you'll actually get a free download of this. And if you have any problems with it, you can always shoot me a quick email. But when you're thinking about your content strategy and really jump-starting your strategy, you've got to have a plan. There's nothing worse than saying, what am I going to post today? And that's typically what happens. Why do most Facebook pages fail? Why do most Facebook pages become Facebook graveyards? Because they don't have a strategy. Because they get excited, they start a page, and then 3 days later they have no idea what to post. So what a lot of agents do is they will take this grid and they will print it up, they'll go old school, they'll put it by their computer, and on that Friday or on that Saturday when they're thinking about their week ahead for content, they've got these 30 or so ideas of what to post out. So now, in terms of content, some of you might be creating your own content, some of you might be bloggers, some of you might be creating your own video content. Your own content is always king if possible. One of my favorite sources of content, by the way, is right with your phone, right? We're all walking around with these amazing phones, taking photos of your community, photos of your neighborhoods. Photos are one of the best pieces of content. But curated content, finding content from other sources is also really effective. These are two of my favorite sources. There's a website called Sway, S-W-A-Y-Y, swayy.com. Sway is a great website. It actually connects with your Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and it sends you an email once a day of some of the top stories in your network that are being shared that they think would match things that you're interested in. There's another great website, news.me. It's powered by Dig, so news.me. Same thing. You sign up and it connects your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then you get an email right to your email once a day with the top 5 stories of stories that were shared the most. So I love this because throughout my day, I'm in my email, I'm checking my email, and I get these emails. I'll scroll through. I'll see if there's anything of interest. If there's anything of interest, I'll then click on that link. I'll share that to Facebook. I might share it to Twitter or LinkedIn. And it's a really easy way to have content come right to you versus you trying to find content. So really, really cool stuff there. Okay, I'm going to dive into LinkedIn, and then we're going to do some Q&A here in a second. So I know I talked a lot about Facebook, but LinkedIn, in my opinion, is where to start in social media. So if you're just dipping your toe in the water, if you haven't done anything with social media, in my opinion, LinkedIn is the place to start because it's the professional network, because it's basically your online resume. You know, I always say if someone comes across your LinkedIn profile and it hasn't been updated in some time, there's the perception that you're out of business. So don't be out of business, right? Update your profile. Make sure you've got a professional photo up there. Make sure you've got your experience and your expertise listed there. It's also where to start in social when you first meet someone. So let's say you've been emailing someone back and forth. You've been connecting with someone. You may not send them a Facebook friend request right away because you just met them, right? Maybe you just met them at a party or you were introduced through email. But LinkedIn is the next logical step. After you've had a conversation with someone, reach out to them on LinkedIn. Send them a personal message and connect with them on LinkedIn. One of my favorite ways to do this is through the LinkedIn's Contacts app. So there's a LinkedIn app, but there's also a Contacts app, which is pretty phenomenal. This actually syncs with your calendar, and it will remind you. It'll say, hey, you just had a meeting with so-and-so. Would you like to connect with them? And it's a great way to connect with people you just met with. It's a great way to say congratulations when someone has had a new job, when someone had a promotion, when someone has a birthday. Really be able to recognize someone easily. You can also actually organize your contacts on LinkedIn too, using this app. And I actually did a whole little how-to on how to do this. So if you've never organized your LinkedIn contacts, some of you probably have hundreds of contacts. I know I think I have thousands of contacts on LinkedIn. How can you make that really work for your business? One of the ways to do that is to tag and organize your contacts. And I actually have a whole how-to on this at katilance.com/LinkedIn_contacts. So katilance.com/LinkedIn_contacts. And I'll send these links out afterwards too, so you guys get these if you missed them. But really easy way to just organize your contacts, right? And again, going back to being intentional. All right, so far so good. I see lots of great questions here. I'm trying to multitask here. Okay, so awesome. So I'm going to do some Q&A in just a second, but I really want to just mention and talk about my social media coaching program for 1 second. I know there's a lot of you who are tuning in who've already signed up, so thank you. I see some familiar faces. I can't wait to start the class. For those of you who are a little bit on the fence or you're kind of thinking about it, I really encourage you to check it out. I've spent a great deal of time really putting together a program that I think is going to be really beneficial to agents. You know, I find that a lot of agents, a lot of times you come to a quick webinar like this, or you read a quick article, and those are all great, social media snacks. But a lot of times you just need a whole program, right? You need the whole meal, right? You need a whole system. And so the social media program that I'm launching is something that I really feel is beneficial for a variety of people, whether you've been doing social media for some time and you really want to take it to the next level, or maybe you're at more of a beginner level. The way it's going to work is it's a 6-week class. It starts August 8th, which is next Friday. It's a 1-hour-a-week group call. It's a recorded call, so if you miss any of the classes, you'll get the recording. And the call is about half of me doing a lot of instruction. I'm going to be teaching things you haven't heard anywhere else, really kind of diving in to all the different social platforms, talking about how to put together a systematic plan, how to make the right choices for your business, and really, really diving into to some of the details about social media. A custom report. You also get a custom report. You'll get tons of materials, and you'll also get access to a private Facebook group that's only going to be for my paid coaching clients. So I'm really excited about that. That's an opportunity for you to pick my brain anytime you want. It'll be a great networking opportunity. So we'd love for you to sign up for that. I do have a special offer, like I mentioned. If you sign up today, go to getsocialsmart.com. Email me your receipt. Tell me which book you'd like. I'm excited because these are two of my favorite books, Jab, 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 Right Hook, or Your Network is Your Net Worth. Two really, really awesome books that I know will help your business. So if you sign up today, make sure you send me the receipt and then let me know which book you like. And, in terms of the cost, that's always a big question. Well, how much is it? And, I don't know if any of you have ever had the chance to look at other coaching programs. It's pretty incredible. Coaching programs can be all over the map. I will tell you, when I work with consulting clients, my retainer ranges anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15,000 a month. And so I wanted to put together a program that was really affordable for agents. So the 6-week program is $1,000. It's something that, again, I think is very, very beneficial for agents of all different levels. So would love for you to sign up. Again, it's getsocialsmart.com. If you have questions about it before you sign up, feel free to email me. I'm at, of course, Katie@KatieLance.com. Okay, so I know I've done a lot of talking. I want to open it up to Q&A, and we've got, if you have any questions, please put them in the questions box right here. I'm going to scroll through here and see if we've got any questions here. Awesome. Let's see here. We've got lots of really good stuff here. Pinterest, Andrea Webb. Hi, Andrea. Pinterest, right? So yes, Pinterest is going to be covered. I actually have a couple great articles on my website about Pinterest. Pinterest is going to be something that's covered in my coaching class. Pinterest is a really great opportunity, I will say. One of the number one things people talk about on Pinterest is the word home, right? People dream about their home. I actually, for myself, I've created a private Pinterest board where I've been sort of dreaming about our home and how we're going to decorate it and what's going to go in what room. So Pinterest is it's a visual platform. There are not as many people on Pinterest as other platforms, but the people who are on Pinterest typically spend more time on Pinterest than any other site. So there's a big opportunity. There's also a huge female demographic. They say 80 to 90% of Pinterest users are female, which are typically the decision makers a lot of times when it comes time for the home purchase. So a really, really great opportunity. But I encourage you to go to my website. I've got some really great articles there as well as my YouTube site. Suzanne is tuning in. Hi, Suzanne. Suzanne Roy from Move.com. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Will you talk about the location-based Pinterest offerings? What huge potential that has for traffic and leads? Absolutely. So there's, I hate to give away too much because I'm actually going to be sharing this in my coaching program, but there's some really amazing things that are happening with Pinterest that are specifically location-based. It has a huge potential for traffic, huge potential for leads. It's amazing with Pinterest the amount of traffic that can really come back to your website, and especially with real estate, having their opportunity to do some location-based pins is really, really cool. So I don't want to give away too much, but it is a very, very cool opportunity. Suzanne says hi. So you really kind of have to spend a little bit of time with your Facebook ads, like really targeting specific people. One of the things that I found works really well with Facebook advertising, you can actually target custom audiences now with Facebook ads, and this is something I'm going to be covering more in my coaching program. But you can actually, if you have an email list, for example, of your database, you can actually upload your database to Facebook, and it will target your database. So what's really powerful about that is, if you've got 1,000 people or 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 people in your database, and you can target those are people that you probably are communicating with through maybe print marketing, maybe you're communicating through email marketing, but to also be able to reach out to them on Facebook through Facebook ads and target those people, it's pretty incredible. So I'd encourage you, if you've done Facebook ads in the past, I encourage you to look at it one more time, because there's some really, really great opportunities. And of course, here's my little commercial. If you join the program, we're going to talk a lot about Facebook ads in the program. Let's see here. And what else? Reading through. Awesome. Thanks, Katie. Awesome webinar. Thank you, Andrea. What about Instagram, Snapchat, and Vine? I know, gosh, there's so many social platforms. Snapchat, I find is one of those things. I'm still working on the relevancy for Snapchat in real estate. I know there's a few of my friends who love Snapchat. I'm still working to see on how it can be completely relevant for real estate. So we're working on that one. Vine is an interesting platform. It's a video platform. Some people are just rocking Vine. I know my friend Michael Thorne, who's with mobileagenttv.com. He's a realtor up in British Columbia, is doing some great things with Vine. If you're a video person, Vine is a really fun platform. And Instagram, Instagram is growing like leaps and bounds, especially for millennials, the Gen Ys, the Gen Xs. Instagram is a much quieter platform. There's less noise than, say, Facebook. It's very visual. There's not as many ads. And I'm definitely going to be covering that in my coaching program. So really, really big opportunity. I love Instagram. I'm a huge Instagram fan. Thank you. We've got people tuning in from Canada, people tuning in from Australia. That is awesome. I don't even know what time it is in Australia right now. It might be the middle of the night. Awesome. Okay, I think I answered most of your questions. I want to be really, really cognizant of your time. It's almost 11 o'clock. So, what's next? Again, thank you so much for tuning in today. This has just been awesome. So exciting to, like I said, do my first webinar without a sponsor, to have it just be about content that I'm really excited about, and just to really share with you about my coaching program. I have to say, it's funny. As much as I love social, it's really tough for me to promote myself and tough to be my own best salesperson. So it's exciting to be here and to share what's going on, with my coaching program. I encourage you to sign up. If you're thinking about it, feel free to send me an email. Would love to chat with you about it. And if you sign up today, make sure you email me your receipt, because I want to get you those free books. So thanks again. Tweet me. I'm at Katie Lance. You can find me on Facebook, all that good stuff. And if you're not on my email list, sign up for my email list too. That way you always get the heads up on what's going on. All right, everybody. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to hop onto Twitter. So if you're on Twitter and you want to chat with me, I'm going to be on Twitter for probably the next 20 or 30 minutes answering questions, and I'll be available there. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm also going to send out this recording. Everybody who's listening to the recording, thank you for tuning into the recording also, and we'll talk to you all soon. Have an awesome day. Thanks, everybody.